who wouldn't live with it.
I spent one night there, Your Honor.
How much did you give to Mr. Taxon?
$3,928.
And you gave him zippity-doo-dah. You're a scammer and a fraudster.
This is Judge Judy. Jacob Burke is suing his former short-term landlord, Joshua Taxon, for defrauding him out of rent and his security deposit.
Judge's case number 156 on the calendar in the matter of Burke versus Taxon. Parties have been sworn in.
Thank you, Bird. Mr. Burke, I'm going to create very simply what your complaint is, and then I'll go into depth in a moment. You found an ad on Craigslist because you were moving from the San Francisco area to an area also in California called East Bay.
Correct, Your Honor.
The defendant has a home in East Bay. You advertised that you were renting out half that home. The home is divided into two parts, an upper level and a lower level. And you answered the ad for the lower level?
Correct.
And that included how many rooms, sir?
One bedroom and one large living space.
And the rent on that was how much?
It was $1,800 a month. I also paid a $700 deposit, and we prorated the first month at $1,428. So that was December.
How much did you give to Mr. Taxon?
$3,928.
And I assume that most of the communications that you had with Mr. Taxon were either over the phone or on the internet.
Yeah, almost.
That you never saw the rooms. You saw
we communicated almost entirely by text message and email, so we have a good record. And I did see the place about 1 month before my move-in date.
Personally?
Yes.
You went to see the space. And you were satisfied with the space?
Yes, Your Honor. At the time, it was being lived in, and so it seemed okay, and I had every...
Being lived in by whom?
I'm not sure, Your Honor. Maybe a previous tenant or maybe Mr. Taxon himself.
Who was living in the lower unit, Mr. Taxon?
I believe it was a previous tenant.
What do you mean you believe? Who was living in the lower unit?
I cannot verify that answer 100%.
What, are you crazy, sir? Yeah?
No, I'm not crazy. I had many tenants, and I was utilizing my home to survive and pay the bills. So I had people in and out. I was also Airbnb-ing rooms in the house, and it was a lot of activity. I also have a young daughter, and I was busy with her.
I'm actually somewhat sympathetic because you brought this action very late. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
There is a substantial period of time that's transpired between the time that you rent.
However, I tried to pursue a lot of remedies with Mr. Taxon, and as he made abundantly clear to me, if I took him to court and won, he wouldn't pay me. I mean, he wouldn't have the money. No two sticks to rub together. So I wanted to give him time to perhaps have the ability to pay.
Do you have that memorialized?
Yes, Your Honor. I issued him...
I'll get to you in a moment. Just a second. Okay. So this is the deal, Mr. Taxon. If this had been more current, there would be no issue, because I think that you're a scam artist. Because what happened is you were trying to keep ends together, doing whatever you had to do. He actually lived there for 5 days. You were sleeping in the laundry room right next door to his apartment because you had rented upstairs to Airbnbs, something that, of course, he didn't know, because as far as it was presented to the plaintiff, there was a house with 2 apartments in it, upper and lower. He was renting the lower. Someone was going to rent the upper. He didn't plan on you living in the laundry room.
I was not living in the laundry room. I stayed in the laundry room.
Ridiculous. It's a fraud and it's a scam. And you took his $3,900. And then, according to you, you gave him on the 5th day a 30-day notice, and you didn't return his money. He stayed there 5 days. You had $4,000 of his money.
I spent one night there, Your Honor.
You're a scammer and a fee. In order to get this money is that between the time he moved out, which was sometime in January of 2019, that he asked you for the money and had communication with you, hoping that he would get the money. Do you have that?
Yes, Your Honor. I have the demand letter that I issued on January 4th.
I'd like to see it.
And, Your Honor, I spent one night in that apartment, the night of December 11th.
Please note, just a second. Did he respond to that?
Yes, Your Honor. We had some back and forth for quite a while. There was intense disagreement as to the reality of this.
How? Was it by text or phone?
Both text and email, Your Honor.
I would like to see what he said to you.
Okay, Your Honor.
Because now we have a demand letter. I would like to see what he said to you, just so that I feel comfortable that you tried your best, and the reason for the delay, this delay in a year.
Yes, Your Honor. Absolutely. So to to set the stage...
Is because he's a deadbeat.
Yes, Your Honor. So to set the stage for... I spent
Deadbeat, that would be you.
I spent only the first night in that apartment, Your Honor. The next day,
I understand that.
Okay.
You told me that. You told me that. I heard it the first time. Just show me the text from him.
Okay.
He's texted me for 20 days, I'd like to add, Your Honor, and that's high maintenance tenant.
You're a fraud.
I am not a fraudster.
You are a fraudster and a thief. You took his $4,000 and you presented him with something that was less than what he bargained for, and you knew it.
He was never
and you
happy.
Knew it.
If you read,
you knew it. You slept in the laundry room next door to his apartment. That's ridiculous.
You haven't seen the house.
That's ridiculous because you were renting the upstairs.
I was doing the best I could to make it. All right, I'm not a fraudster. The laundry room is large enough.
Just a second.
Okay, go ahead.
Just a second. Hey, the best you could is good enough for your mother, maybe your brother, maybe your daughter. It's not good enough for a stranger who's working. You had a job, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have a job?
Yes, I do now.
Doing what? Then?
At the time, and then I did not have...
Did you have a job then?
No, I did not.
Okay. He's not your mother, your brother. He's not a charity. He signed on for an apartment, a private place where he could live, and it turned out that you weren't selling him what he bought. And it was you looking at me sympathetically. I did the best I can. I have a daughter. I had an Airbnb. I wasn't working. But that's all very sympathetic, sir. You took his $4,000 and you spent it.
I gave him...
You took his $4,000 and you spent it. And you gave him zippity-doo-dah. He slept there for a night. You gave him nothing. That's fraud and theft.
I also sacrificed quite a bit of income for him because he wanted to move in. He moved in early. It was December. It was the best time of year. This house...
No, he gave you money for it, $1,400. That was your bargain. He was supposed to get an apartment.
And he did. And he got it early. And I sacrificed the income that I would have made.
He didn't get it. He didn't get it early. These may be some of the tricks you play in your mind. And maybe your daughter believes that. I don't believe it. And if you sat down and had an intelligent conversation with yourself where you stopped playing a victim, maybe you would recognize that what you're saying to me sounds ridiculous.
Your Honor.
You sacrificed for him. Don't say anything. You sacrificed for him, a stranger, money that you could have made renting his place for $300 a night for an Airbnb. You think that I believe that you sacrificed for him? You charged him $1,400. The rent on the apartment was $1,800. That's to sleep next to the owner who's sleeping in the laundry room? Give me a break. Shut power off because I owe them. Oh,
Your
hi,
Honor,
Jake. So cleaning is going with power. And I swallow my pride and ask you for help. Please don't feel pressured. They shut off the power in your house. And in addition to the $4,000 he gave you because he was moving in, you're asking this stranger, not your mother, not your father, not your brother, not your daughter. You're asking a stranger who's already given you $4,000 for another $500. Otherwise, when he moves into the house, there's not going to be any power. After this, I want to see after January, after the demand letter. That's all I want to see. Don't show me December 14th. I want to see after January. Do you understand what I said to you? That says Friday, December 14th. I don't care about it. What I want to see are now efforts to collect this money after you sent him the demand letter. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so our text messages end at the end of December, so we must have switched to...
I want him...
Yep.
I want his response to you, any of his responses to you. That I would like to see, any of his responses to you after January, after you sent him the demand letter.
Okay, Your Honor. There you see January 2nd.
Hi, Josh. Please let me know you...
His response is here acknowledging that he does have some time.
I'm not sure what you want to take care of. I have 20 money with an itemized list of any deductions. The longer you hold the space hostage, the longer it will take to resolve this. What does that mean, Mr. Taxon?
It means that he moved all of his things into the space and then he didn't occupy it. It means that you can't, it's hard to find the actual conversation because for 20 days, he was texting me to get things ready for him and he was wanting to move in early.
No, not sure what, no, not early.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So what happened to the 21 days in the itemized list? Did you ever send it?
I did not send the list, and for that I am at fault. But he was.
You're at fault. You're a thief.
And later today,
Could you explain to me why it took you a month to notify him that you only got 65 shirts?
I took trust, which was my mistake.
That was a very big mistake.
Jacob Burke says former short-term landlord Joshua Taxon misrepresented his living situation. He is suing for the return of rent and his security deposit.
Okay, this says I have 21 days from the day you move out to return with an itemized list of any deductions. That's what you say to him. I have 21 days from the day you move out to return your money. This is after he moved out.
Yes.
So what happened to the 21 days in the itemized list? Did you ever send it?
No, he threatened me to take me to court. I did not send the list, and for that I am at fault. But he was.
You're at fault. You're a thief. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,928. We're done.
Your Honor, may I say one more thing?
What?
Well,
you got what you wanted.
Yes,
say
Your Honor.
thank you.
Thank you.
Just say thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
I went to far more trouble for him as a tenant than I've ever gone for any tenant.
He has done this to many other people.
I no longer own the home. I lost the home.
That place was clearly in need of a deep cleaning.
Definitely would like to put it behind me.
I have found a much better place to live.
All parties in the matter of Campos versus Enriquez. Step to the podium, please.
Jose Campos is suing Francisco Enriquez for failing to deliver an order of T-shirts he paid him to print.
Mr. Campos, did you meet the defendant online?
Yes, I did.
And you were in the market to have some shirts made with a particular logo.
Yes.
You met him online and placed an order with him for how many shirts?
Yes.
And on what date did you place that order with the defendant?
I believe August 13th.
Of this year?
Yes.
How much did you pay him?
1,003 was 75 cents.
And was that for the completed shirts with the logo or just for the shirts without the logo?
No, that's with the completed logo and the shirts included.
For 125?
Yeah. Yes,
And according to your complaint, what he sent you was half the shirts. Instead of 125, how many did you get?
I got 65 shirts, but they weren't completed. It was just blank shirts. They weren't even completed with the design.
And the defendant doesn't deny that there was no design on the shirts. Is that correct, Mr. Enriquez?
Correct.
And you do not make the shirts yourself. You buy them from a vendor. What is the name of the vendor from whom you buy the shirts?
It's Jiffy Shirts.
How long have you done business with Jiffy Shirts?
I would say about 5 years now.
I would like to see the invoice for the 125 shirts that was ordered and delivered to you from Jiffy Shirts. Why did you order 131 shirts?
Why? Because making the T-shirt, I can replace the one that I had damaged. So I always keep spare ones just in case.
Okay. I would like to see the invoice when you received it and paid for it to Jiffy.
Yeah, this is actually the invoice that I received.
No, that's the order. It doesn't have an amount there, sir, so you can't get an invoice if it doesn't have an amount of money.
Oh, you're talking about the amount of money? Yes, I actually have a screenshot on my phone if you want to look at it.
My question is, when you got the box of T-shirts, what did you do with them?
I placed them off on the side of my studio just so I could wait until I received the design from Campos.
Okay. You didn't open them to look at them?
Yes, I actually did open it just to make sure that it was the brand.
Okay. When you open it,
yes,
inside there's a packing slip.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have that?
This is the packing slip that I got.
That?
Yes, this is the packing slip.
I'd like to see it.
You are seeing it. That's what I received.
Yeah, no, okay. Give me a second. Okay, now I'd like to see the invoice.
Give me 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Mr. Enriquez.
Yes.
I got a bill from them.
Yes.
For $830.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I just looked up Jiffy Shirts, And what you had were T-shirts, sir?
Yes.
And the T-shirts are $1.49 a piece.
$1.49? Are you really sure you're looking at the correct brand? Championship, not Gildan?
I'm looking at Jiffy Shirts wholesale T-shirts.
Correct.
$1.49, free shipping, always in stock. $1.49, save 50%. Bulk, wholesale. That's what it says.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When you have lost faith in a business associate, as you lost faith in him, the first thing I would have done is open up the box and looked at them.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jose Campos says Francisco Enriquez never delivered an order of 125 T-shirts he paid him to print.
Okay.
If you actually look up Championship, the brand, it's a little bit more expensive. It's high quality.
So, Champion,
Yes.
how much do they charge you extra for the championship so that I don't have to look here? How much do they charge
The
you
championships
additional for
championships are actually $6.
I would like to see the invoice for that, sir, not the total. I would like to see your invoice, not the total $830.
Okay.
Did you tell him that you wanted the championship,
Yes.
Mr.
Yeah,
Campos?
it was very specific. Yeah, it was very specific.
Okay.
He did mention that the shirts were $7 flat.
Okay, you're giving me the same thing.
Yes, because this is the invoice that I received.
You're giving me the same thing.
Yes,
How
ma'am.
many shirts did you get, sir?
I got 65 shirts.
And you got 65 shirts that, according to him and according to you, were worth $7 a piece.
Yeah, plus $1 for the designing. So he charged me $1 extra for the shirts.
Just a second, you didn't get a logo on them,
No.
correct?
Yes.
So what you got, according to you, was $455 worth of shirts.
Yes.
And you paid him $1,000.
Yep.
Okay. When, for the first time, did you tell him that you only got 65 shirts?
I told him November 6th.
And when did you receive them?
I believe I got them October 2nd.
Well, could you explain to me why it took you a month to notify him that you only got 65 shirts?
Since he did not complete the order by giving me the logo on the shirts, I had to take that time to find a different. So therefore, I didn't even bother to look into the box because I took trust, which was my mistake. Trust in his judgment.
That was a very big mistake.
Yeah.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, that was a very big mistake.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
If you get
I
it,
trusted
and you
his
knew-
judgment.
If you get it, don't make it any worse for yourself. When you have lost faith in a business associate, as you lost faith in him, according to you, that he wasn't delivering what you had ordered, and you said, I'm going to either come and get or send me the shirts, the first thing I would have done is open up the box and looked at them and notified him immediately that your order was shorted. Do you
Yes.
understand?
Yes.
Good, good. Your case is dismissed. We're finished. Thank you.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
Your towing company towed his car.
Correct.
Did he say that he didn't have your...
They sold my vehicle.
Next Judge Judy.
He failed to accomplish an order that I placed.
It's not my mistake. It was his.
It was bad judgment. I trusted that he'd give me what I've ordered.
He demanded his shirts, and so I gave him his shirts.
This whole process that I went through is definitely a lesson.
My opinion is to never help anybody out.
You owe him $3,950.
No, I don't.
The virus held up her security deposit.
I missed the walkthrough because I had COVID symptoms.
Your Honor, he didn't even let us know.
It's irrelevant to this case that you had COVID.
Now a landlord holds nothing back.
You want me to go to a walkthrough and infect somebody with COVID?
Send your mother, send your father, send a friend. You're full of baloney.
This is Judge Judy. Michelle Spaulding is suing her former landlord, Kirk Wilterding for the return of her security deposit.
Judges case number 113 on the calendar in the matter of Spalding versus Wilterding. Parties have been sworn in.
Ms. Spalding, your case is a relatively simple one. It is your claim that the defendant owes you your security deposit. He gave you a 60-day notice. You did, in fact, move out, and he retained $3,950 of your security.
That is correct.
So far correct? Okay, so, Mr. Wilterding, I'm going to start with you, sir. The Spaldings rented your house. They gave you in security deposit $3,950,
Correct.
which you know you're supposed to keep segregated in a separate account. Do you know that?
I do know that, and it was
That's
segregated.
a yes? Good. And you can prove that to me if I needed it.
Sure.
Sure.
Yes.
In what bank did you keep it segregated?
I have it in a separate account that's one of my LLCs, not a personal account.
What LLC do you have there?
Just my account.
$3,950.
My account. And I actually sent them a copy because they asked for it.
Then I'm just asking you, why can't you tell me what bank you have their $3,950 in?
It's Wells Fargo.
Okay, let's proceed a little further. According to you, you had a girlfriend, you were moving to California, you lived in your house for a couple of years, then you moved with your girlfriend, then COVID struck, and you decided you wanted to move home. They were already living in the house, you gave them a 60-day notice. That's what you wrote in your answer and swore to. Do you remember that?
Correct.
Good. And they did, in fact, move out. And you made a 60-day notice. You made a date to do a walkthrough with them before they left, which is what people do when they have a rental property so that the people are moving out, say, this is what the place looks like, and you have an opportunity to look at and say, this is my damage, and I'm going to deduct that from your security deposit. You don't have to put anything anywhere. You weren't feeling well on the day of the walkthrough. That's what you wrote, correct?
Correct.
And according to you, you lost your sense of smell because you had COVID.
What does that have to do with the walkthrough?
Well, it has to do with the walkthrough, sir, because you say by the time you entered the house and regained your sense of smell, that's what it has to do with it. You said,
I didn't say
that
any
in your
of that.
answer.
You're just making that up. I didn't say any of that.
Okay.
I missed.
Really?
If you would
Okay.
like me to explain,
Just a sec.
I missed. If I can
No,
explain.
I'm just looking at it. I may, just a second. I may have been mistaken, so I'm going to read your answer. You said, due to COVID-19, I decided to move back into my house. I gave them a 60-day notice, and they complied. Michelle asked for her deposit back on the day they moved out. I told her she had to wait for damage checks, but you already had a date for a walkthrough that you didn't go to. I started feeling ill, so I missed their walkthrough. That's your sworn.
No.
Soon after that, I moved back into my house. I got COVID-19. Following my doctor's instructions, I quarantined until I felt better. It took a full month before I was symptom-free. That's what you wrote. When I finally got my sense of smell back, I knew I wasn't crazy. I can't make that up.
30 days later?
The smell of dog was obvious. The smell of dog was obvious, and I needed to change the carpet and pad. That's what you swore to in your answer, sir, right?
I missed the walkthrough because I had COVID symptoms. You can see I have a letter from my doctor, so I did not want to infect them. I didn't say that I didn't have smell.
I don't care.
And that's what...
No, just a second. You said...
30 days later.
You just said, I don't care, sir. You owe $3,950.
No, I don't.
You missed the walkthrough.
There's more to the story. I missed the walkthrough because I was sick. I had COVID. So you want me to go to a walkthrough and infect somebody with COVID?
Send somebody in your place.
Your Honor, he didn't even let us know.
Send your girlfriend. So just a second.
I didn't have anybody available. It's a 2-hour drive. I have nobody available. I nobody.
Send your mother.
No one.
Send
my
your
mother.
father.
My mother
Send
lives
a
in
friend.
Minnesota.
Hey, listen to me, sir. You're full of baloney because you lived in that house according to you
if you
for
would like
2
to,
years.
I came a long way. If you'd like to actually hear the story, and I have evidence.
Relevant to this case that you had COVID. It is totally
How is it irrelevant
to this case.
Why do I wear a mask then? We're not supposed to infect people. We're supposed to quarantine. Really? So Judge Judy says nobody has to quarantine. No.
How many times have you had COVID?
No.
I've had
it twice.
No. Shh. No. Listen to me, sir. Listen to me. Don't talk over me. I wouldn't suggest.
Well, you're not letting me talk. Why am I here? You're not letting me talk. Why am I here? Why am I here?
You're here to pay $3,950 just for the plaintiff. That's it. Out. We're done.
This case has been concluded. Parties are excused.
I'm honestly just happy that the truth came out. He clearly showed his true colors.
Because my whole house smells like dog. My brand new house, 2,800 square feet of carpet, smells like dog.
And that was my total interaction with him the entire time that we were his tenants.
They had it cleaned, they put perfume on the carpet, and it stinks.
Everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie.
So I have 2,800 square feet of dog carpet. It's $6,500 to fix. So their measly deposit doesn't even cover it.
I'm glad I'm done with this nightmare and I don't have to deal with him anymore.
All parties in the matter of Roberts versus Patton. Step to the podium.
Charles Roberts is suing Bryn Patton for the return or value of a dirt bike.
Mr. Patton, I'm going to start with you, sir. Dirt bike. And you own a mechanic shop, and he asked you sometime last year if you could get the bike up and running.
Correct,
So far, correct?
Correct.
So I want you to understand that Mr. Roberts, who I haven't spoken to yet, looks like a reasonably intelligent man. And you came out and you looked at the bike for the purposes of giving him an estimate as to how much it would cost to get this non-running dirt bike up and running. So far, am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you did, in fact, give him an estimate of what you thought, because you're the professional, of what you thought it would take to get the bike up and running. Correct?
After we went through it, Your Honor, and diagnosed everything and did a complete workup on it.
No, at the house, before you took possession of the bike, he asked you for an estimate.
Which we cannot provide.
Did you give him?
No.
Well, what did you look at the bike at his house for?
Actually, we just went to pick it up to get it going for him.
Okay, great. So you went and picked it up. On what date did you pick it up? Do you recall, Mr. Patton?
I don't recall the exact date, no, ma'am.
Do you recall the month?
April or May of
Mr.
last.
Roberts, just give me the month that he picked up the bike.
It's unclear, and it's not documented
in your papers.
That's my best recollection, Your Honor.
March of 2020. Okay, so you picked up the bike, Mr. Patton, according to you, and you took it back to your shop for a diagnosis and an estimate of what it would cost to fix it. And you didn't keep that estimate to yourself because you're in business. So you relayed that estimate to Mr. Roberts. What did you tell him it would cost to fix the bike after you diagnosed it? No, I don't want to hear the word basically or like or about. Now you took the bike back to your shop.
We were given the instructions to
complete. I'm giving you a question, sir, and what I suggest you do is a believable answer. If you don't, I assume you have family who are among the 9 or 10 million people who watch this program every day. I said to you at the beginning, Mr. Roberts is an intelligent person. If I took my bike or my car into a mechanic to be repaired, and they said I have to do a diagnostic, and they took the car to do a diagnostic, then they communicate with me as to what it will cost to fix it after they've done the diagnostic. So don't give me a lot of who shot John.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Now, I'm not belies. Your answer belies credulity. Sir, don't look slick to me, sir. I can tell slick. Don't think of what I'm saying to you.
And later today.
I loaned her $1,000. The night that the big fight went down, that she wound up leaving my house, she gave me $500 that night before she left.
Tell me how that happened.
She went out to her car, got the $500, came and handed it to me.
Is that the way it happened?
Charles Roberts says mechanic Bryn Patton owes for the return or value of a dirt bike. Bryn is countersuing for a repair bill and storage fees.
What I'm asking you, sir, is after the diagnostic, what estimate did you give them?
We were given an order to fix the bike and get it running so that it was in proper running condition. He was leaving town.
You know, I don't believe... Just a second.
Okay.
Now, I'm not believing you.
Okay.
Mr. Patton, I'm not believing you, sir.
Well, unfortunately, I'm telling you the honest truth.
Your answer belies credulity, sir. It belies credulity. That somebody had a non-working dirt bike and said, as you're quoted in your answer, whatever it costs, leave you.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you a couple of other questions, because that's what this case is about. He wants his bike back, and you have a ridiculous counterclaim. Now, is the bike currently, don't look slick to me, sir, I can tell slick. Don't think of what I'm saying to you. Is the bike currently running?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it currently in your shop?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, are you getting an appearance fee for coming to this program today?
Yes, ma'am.
How much?
To be honest, I do not recall. This is the third time this has happened, and each time things have been very different. So with the COVID, things have...
Fine. So you don't know. Whatever it is, you know it's something,
That's right.
Okay, good. So nothing better happened to this bike because they're going to hold whatever that appearance fee is until we make this exchange and we have a running dirt bike. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
Great. Now, originally you say he came out and looked and said maybe between $300 and $400. Okay, that's a good guesstimate. You know, that never is what it is. You never get charged exactly the top end of an estimate.
Right.
What you say to me is, in your complaint, is that in July, so we had March, April, May, June, now in July, Brian texted me, which you have, that the cost of the repairs had increased dollars. Do you recall texting him that figure, sir?
I texted
Mr.
many
Patton.
times. Oh, wait.
No.
I apologize.
Do you recall texting him that the bill, which originally you said would be maybe between $3 and $4, is now $580 in August? Do you recall saying that to him?
Yes.
Okay. We'll take a look at that text.
Here's the text. August 21st, he says, $580 plus tax.
Plus tax on parts. So say the repairs was $600.
Fair enough.
Right? Say repairs was $600, but he said, I think I have a buyer. Forget buyer, forget any other deal. $600 with the repairs then. And according to Mr. Patton's answer, Mr. Patton, I want you to listen carefully. You said I had the bike fixed within a few weeks. So that $580 plus tax on parts was a completed figure. That's what the figure was. $600, which was twice the lowest estimate that I believe that you gave him, but a couple of $100 more than the highest estimate. And according to you, you said to him, I kept asking Charles to pick up his property and pay his bill. He kept making excuses. When he complained. Why would it cost $1,500?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
we were arguing, and I was being told that I'm not thankful for anything that he does.
You were arguing. I want to know if you went out voluntarily and gave him $500 towards the $1,000 loan.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Charles Roberts says mechanic Bryn Patton owes for the return or value of a dirt bike. Bryn is countersuing for a repair bill and storage fees.
Now, why would it cost $1,500?
I don't recall why I don't know how that conversation even occurred. I don't recall it.
You don't recall telling him that the cost was $1,500 now?
Charging him $1,500? I do not recall that. No, ma'am.
Did the person who wanted to buy the bike, because I'm looking at that text message, Mr. Patton, did the person who wanted to buy the bike, was that your son?
He's my son, yes.
Okay, and then he decided not to buy it.
Correct.
Did he use it?
No.
Did he ever once?
During
once or more than?
More than once.
More than 10 times?
No. And it's just not my
Between
son.
5 and 10
we have technicians that ride it as we repair things. They have to be test ridden.
No, I'm talking just about your son, sir, not about the technicians, just your son.
Oh, no, he only rode it one time, the first time that he was going to ride it. He wanted to see if he was going to buy it or not.
Okay, very good. All right, it's a relatively easy case, Mr. Roberts. You see, you didn't have to say anything. You have to give him $600. When you give him $600 and go and retrieve your bike, you can do that with a marshal. The bike will be in perfect running order because that's what Mr. Patton says. It's in perfect running order, and there are things that we will hold hostage in order to make sure that you get that bike in good running order for the cost of $600, which you think is fair, correct?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Very good. Very good. We're finished. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Well, I think it's a fair decision. It's a little frustrating because he quoted me $300 to $400 to repair the bike.
I believe it was a fair decision. I believe we kind of came here and got the answer we wanted.
Then the bill came back as $580, and then when I went to pick it up, he presented me with an invoice for over $1,000.
There was a dispute between the payment that he felt was owed and what we were charging.
I'm just like, this is a hostage situation. I'm not going to play that.
Step to the podium, please.
Doug Swenson is suing his ex-girlfriend, Kathy Miller, for an unpaid loan.
Mr. Swenson?
Yes, ma'am.
According to your complaint, sir, the defendant was your girlfriend for a couple of years.
Yes, ma'am.
From when to when?
It was March of 2017, I believe, up until September of 2020.
And it is your claim that just before the breakup, you loaned her $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
You had a bad argument sometime in...
September 16th is when I was.
The answer says on October 18th, he showed up at my house unannounced about the money.
We could have the months.
But you broke up?
Yeah, it was in September.
In September, you broke up?
Yes, ma'am, on the 16th.
Okay. Did you go to her house to collect the money in
yes,
October?
Ma'am. Yes, I did.
Okay. And you went to retrieve, according to you, the money she owed you?
Yes, ma'am. $500.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, the $500 that she owed me, that's why I went there.
Well, when did she give you any money towards the loan?
Okay.
I thought she gave you that money
okay,
when you broke up.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by Real Cases, Real People. Judge Judy. Have you? Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you went to retrieve, according to you, the money she owed you.
Yes, ma'am. The $500 that she owed me, that's why I went there.
Well, when did she give you any money towards the loan?
Okay.
I thought she gave you that money
okay,
when you broke up.
I loaned her $1,000. The night that the big fight went down, that she wound up leaving my house, she gave me $500 that night before she left.
She gave it to you, look, listen to me. She gave it to you voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am. She said exactly to me,
Tell me how that happened.
Yeah. Okay, well, now here's what happened. She went out to her car, got the $500, came and handed it to me.
Is that the way it happened?
We were arguing, and I was being told that I'm not thankful for anything that he does because he came and helped me find the car. He knows about cars. So that night...
You were arguing. I want to know if you went out voluntarily and gave him $500 towards the $1,000 loan.
I did.
Did you do that?
Because he was putting it in my face.
Well, that's not what you said here in your answer, which is the only reason I'm hearing this case, because you said he blocked my car in so I couldn't leave. I had no choice but to give him the money. But that's not what you just told me.
Next morning, he came to my house.
I want to know when it was that you gave him the $500.
When he came to my house.
Not at his house.
No.
I don't believe either one of you. Actually, it doesn't make any difference. If you gave him the money, then you owe him the balance of $500, okay? And by giving him the $500, you acknowledge that you owed him $1,000, you gave him $500, you owe him $500. Oh, my God. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And on the next Judge Judy.
I think it was absolutely correct.
I guess it's fair.
I helped her out, and I felt she was very unappreciative.
Well, he gave me the money, and he said, don't worry about it.
We got in a huge fight. She wanted to leave my house in the middle of the night and stuff, and...
You know, don't take anything from anybody.
Yeah, I just, I wanted my money back.
Just do it on your own.
Roommates at odds.
I made a point of civility.
Bev's perception is inaccurate.
I have never raised my voice.
She didn't let up.
And the hostility hit dangerous levels.
What was it that forced you to move?
I was racing, I had chest pain, and I was terrified.
This is Judge Judy. Carrie Wawasuk and Beverly Stanley are suing their former roommate, Martha Hooper, for breaking their lease.
Judge, this is case number 190 on the calendar in the matter of Wawasuk Stanley versus Hooper. Parties have been sworn in. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Ms. Wawasuk, for the purposes of this case and to keep the parties straight, I'm going to use your first name. Your first name is Kerry. co-plaintiff is Beverly Stanley. You and Miss Hooper, whose first name is Martha, decided to rent a 4-bedroom house together. Kerry, you were in the house with your daughter. So one of the rooms was occupied by you, one of the rooms was occupied by your daughter. Your co-plaintiff, Beverly, shared a bath with the defendant, but they each had their own room. Correct. So far, is that correct? Is that my correct reading of this? How old is your daughter, Kerry?
She's 15.
And Beverly, how old is your grandson?
40.
When did he move into your house?
He has never moved into my house.
Where does he live?
He lives in Meridian with his wife and children.
Okay, this is what it's about. The three of you ladies, along with Kerry's daughter, rented a house, and Martha did not get along. They didn't get along practically from the beginning, and according to the complaint, it made everybody, including you, very uncomfortable. At some point, the defendant was in and out of the house, according to you, because she had purchased an RV during the pandemic. Is that where you're currently living?
No, ma'am. I am currently house sitting for my brother in Boise, Idaho.
How long have you been house sitting for your brother?
Since December 20th.
From November 1st to December 20th, where did you live?
I lived with my sister that's here with me today.
Okay. Is it your intention to, after this lease is up in a couple of months, is it your intention to stay in the house, Kerry?
No.
Where are you going?
I'm not sure yet. I've been looking for rentals.
Just a second. Beverly, what do you plan to do when your lease is up?
I don't know if I'm going to stay in the area or go to the town where my daughter lives.
Okay. I want you to tell me your version, Beverly, about the argument that you had with Martha that resulted in her moving out on October 31st.
There was not an argument. I came home from work. Martha's car was in my parking spot. When I walked in, I said, "Move your car."
What was she doing when you said this to her?
She was sitting in the living room.
Okay, go ahead.
That's it. She said...
Were there words?
Yeah, she said that she had unpacked or brought in some stuff. And I said, fine. And she got upset and said that she is leaving, that her health is being compromised, and her doctor told her, and other things. I didn't pay attention. I had things to take care of.
Well, Beverly, this wasn't a one-time disagreement with the defendant. You had had disagreements with her in the past after you all moved in together.
Yes.
About what?
I made a point of civility when she would be out in front smoking. If I was going out the door, I would say hi, and she wouldn't respond. She made a habit of standing in doorways, either into the kitchen or down the hall, when she knew I was getting ready to go to work, just to block it, to where I would have to say something or go a different way. Her bedroom was next to mine. A couple of times she had her radio on premises and be gone. I did not want, with her door shut, I did not want to go into her room. Carrie's daughter was comfortable about going into the room and turning it off.
What was the first time that you can recall that the two of you had a disagreement?
That would be hard to say. I had my bathroom rugs and shower curtains, and I told Martha I like to have the shower curtain, like this. And for a while, it was fine. Then she wanted to change that around, and I didn't like that. So I asked her again, the shower curtain needs to be left like this.
So that was the first disagreement, how the shower curtain was going to be in the shower. What else?
I had a full set of dishes that were in the cupboard, and Martha decided she wanted to have her own cupboard space and her own dishes. And with not saying anything to me or discussing it, while I was at work, she took all of my dishes out of the cupboard, put them in a different one.
Okay. You want to tell me, Martha, what precipitous will that ultimately resulted in your leaving the house? Because what this case is about was you ladies believe that the defendant, because she left, should be responsible for the remainder of her share of the lease, which is about 5 months at $375 a month. That's what the whole case is about.
Yeah.
She has a counterclaim, which I think is probably nonsense, but let's see. What was it that you felt forced you to move?
On October 17th, Your Honor, I had been with my great-grandchildren. I have 4 of them while the 5th one was being born. I have a very bad heart, Your Honor. I have a pacemaker and a defibrillator, and I only have 36% of my heart that is functioning. I was exhausted from being with my 4 grandsons. I did back up my car into the driveway to unload it. My car was running, and the hatch was open. I probably hadn't been in the space 5 minutes. But Bev's perception of how she approached that is inaccurate. Your Honor, she came around the corner, she pulled up sideways on the sidewalk, put the front part of her car in the lawn, threw open her door, and started telling me I had to move. I said, Bev, she didn't let up. What happened at that point? I thought I was having a heart attack. My doctor told me I would not live through a second one. My heart was racing. I had chest pains. I had pain down my arm. I had an ice pick in my back, and I was terrified.
Well, you were having clearly an anxiety situation, and clearly the right thing was that the 3 of you separate.
Yes.
That's the right thing. You had never lived together with these 2 ladies.
No, ma'am, I had not.
Before you signed this lease.
No.
Before you signed this lease. By the way, if you have a heart condition, you shouldn't be smoking.
Oh, I know, Your Honor. My doctor tells me that constantly.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you again, and I didn't go to medical school, but if you have even if you don't, but if you have a heart condition and only 37% of your heart is working, you're killing yourself by smoking.
I agree, Your Honor.
You support yourself how?
Your Honor, I get Social Security, and
yes,
I work part-time as an alcohol and drug counselor, 24 to 26 hours a week in Boise, Idaho.
Okay. Now, this is your sister.
Yes, ma'am.
And you moved in with your sister 20th when you began to house sit for your brother.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're going to be house sitting for your brother for how long?
Till the middle of March, Your Honor.
Is he paying you?
No, ma'am, he is not.
So he's offering you a place to stay?
Yes, ma'am.
And I assume that when you went to live with your sister for those 6 weeks, your sister didn't charge you any rent either.
No, I helped her with other bills, though, Your Honor, while I was there, but no rent.
Whatever.
Yeah.
No rent. So you signed the lease.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're going to be living rent-free. Well, you did live rent-free for November, December, January, February, and March. So you're rent-free. I think it was a very, very good thing that you moved out. Good for your health. Your health is all important. But you have a responsibility to that lease. And I think that because of COVID, it's actually practically impossible to get somebody to come in to live in the house. And I'm sure that neither one of the 2 plaintiffs would want a stranger to come into the house.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today.
What happened to the bed?
That I don't know.
Somebody ripped apart the bed, but the door this big black dog was living with you.
Yes.
Because it's sitting with you having a beer.
Carrie Wawasuk and Beverly Stanley claim former roommate Martha Hooper broke their lease. Martha is countersuing for damaged property, the return of her deposit, and emotional distress.
Okay, the only thing that I have to ask you, and the reason that I asked Beverly about her grandson, is that you made a claim in your answer that you say that you heard Beverly say something.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
As you were packing.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Tell me what that was.
In a very perky voice, Bev said, well, good. Now that that's done, we can move in my grandson. He drinks a little bit, but he doesn't have a problem with alcohol like we do.
Which grandson was she talking about?
Your Honor, I have no
You don't
idea.
know.
I've never met her family. I don't know.
Okay, so the number that I have is $1,875, which is what you would owe for the remainder of the lease, and when you're living actually rent-free. And as I said, I think it's a good idea that you move, but you have a counterclaim. When you say you put in a deposit, was that a house deposit?
It was a $1,200 damage deposit down.
And you put in $400?
It was only $300.
Okay, and do you have a dog?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Does Carrie have a dog?
Carrie has 2 dogs.
Does Bev have a dog?
Yes, Bev has a little dog.
Okay, but you don't have an animal?
No, ma'am.
And they are not alleging anything in their complaint that you caused any damage to the house. Because if there's no damage to the house, you should be getting the deposits back, which includes her $300. If either you or your dog or you, your daughter, or your 2 dogs caused damage, that's on you. So now you don't get back $1,875, you get back $1,575. Now, your countersuit wants return of deposit, punitive damage for emotional distress, forget that, property damage. What property of yours was damaged?
I had a brand new recliner in the home, and Carrie's dog urinated on the recliner, and I can't get it out, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you have the recliner?
Your Honor, I have it
in
a storage unit at the point. I have attempted to give it away many times, and no one will take it.
Okay. Judgment for the plaintiffs in the amount of $1,575. Your counterclaim is dismissed. We're finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
She wanted to get me out of there, and her and Carrie rent the house.
It all started because I burned up Bev's cutting board.
It's just time to part ways. Let's just go live our lives happily.
I thought it was going to be fabulous, and it was a nightmare from day one.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Fugate versus Smith Fugate. Step forward.
Rick Fugate is suing his daughter, 18-year-old Tanya Fugate, and her fiancé, 19-year-old Joshua Smith, for damages they caused to his motorhome.
Mr. Fugate, this young lady is your daughter, and this is her boyfriend, Mr. Smith. Your daughter is 18.
Yes, Your Honor.
When was the last time she lived with you?
Until her 18th birthday.
Until her 18th birthday?
Yes, in March.
And why did you move out of your father's home when you were 18?
Because I had felt we had argued enough and I couldn't take it anymore, so I had moved out.
What did you argue about?
Everything.
Like?
The title to my truck.
The title to your truck?
Not being able to go out as an adult.
What do you mean, go out as an adult?
Let's
go back a second. You graduated from high school?
A year early.
And what did you do after you graduated from high school?
I worked full-time.
When you say you graduated a year early, that usually suggests that you're smart.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever think of pursuing...
Trying to come up with the money to get back into school.
Were you in school after you graduated from high school and college? No. So you're not trying to get back into school?
I had dual enrollment through Estrella Mountain Community College for a business management certification. So I'm trying to get into Estrella Mountain to continue a degree.
You sound like a very smart girl, Miss Fugate.
Thank you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You claim he assaulted you on what date?
I want to say, November 2nd, roughly.
Well, don't ask me. I mean, if I'm assaulted, I remember the date. If I have a fight with my parent and my parent slaps me in the face, I'm crushed.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Rick Fugate is suing his daughter, 18-year-old Tanya Fugate, and her fiancé, 19-year-old Joshua Smith, for damages they caused to his motorhome.
What does Mr. Smith do?
He is a deli clerk at the moment, and he's actually helping a friend. He's training him how to weld, and he's trying to get into school to become a certified welder.
This is what your case is about, Mr. Fugate. You say you had a motorhome that you purchased that you intended to work on a little bit and then resell.
Yes, sir.
Who did you buy the motorhome from?
Some friends of mine.
Give me the name.
Dixie.
When?
November of last year.
How much shame is that you allowed your daughter and her boyfriend to move into the motorhome because they needed a place to stay, and that they damaged it. You had some sort of an argument with your daughter. They moved out. They say they moved out because you unplugged it, and they were forced to move out. But they moved out, and it is your claim that they did a substantial amount of damage. So I'd like to see what damage you ascribe to them.
Here are the first few pictures there beforehand.
Do you have pictures of the motorhome before they moved in?
Yes, there's the first 4 or 5 is pictures. You'll see the blinds, the shape of the Mattress, the refrigerator, things like that. And then I think that's the first 5 pictures. Then after that is after their dogs, and they lived in it for approximately 6 weeks.
What happened to the bed?
That I don't know.
Well, I'm going to show it to you. Somebody ripped apart the bed. Was it the dogs?
It wasn't our dogs.
Whose dog was it?
There's literally hundreds of other dogs around there. The door
well, this
wasn't...
big black dog was living with you.
Yes.
Because that's your dog.
Yes.
Because it's sitting with you having a beer.
Yes.
That's what it looks like in this picture.
Yes.
And the same dog that looks like it destroyed the bed, or the same animal that looks like it destroyed the bed, also destroyed the blinds. How did that happen?
I didn't school.
Well, it was either the dog or one of you.
The door on the trailer was broken. It wouldn't shut. And with so many other dogs around there...
Oh, my goodness gracious me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by Real Cases, Real People. Judge Judy. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Where is this motorhome now?
It's parked at a friend's house until I get it fixed up to where I can sell it.
I think that you probably got a really good deal in buying it for $1,500. You want $1,100 to fix it. I'd give you the whole value of the thing. I wouldn't live in that thing.
Not the way it is now.
All right. Now you have a counterclaim. Ms. Fugate, your counterclaim is you say your father assaulted you.
Yes.
You claim he assaulted you on what date?
I want to say, no, November 2nd, roughly.
Well, don't ask me. I mean, if I'm assaulted, I remember the date. If I have a fight with my parent and my parent slaps me in the face, I'm crushed. Is that what your father did?
Yes.
Well, he shouldn't do that. You're 18 years old and he shouldn't slap you. Were you having an argument about the boyfriend?
No.
Were you having an argument about the boyfriend, something about oil that was...
The truck. The can of brake fluid then got knocked off of the truck. He accidentally ran it over. My father was yelling and screaming at me, telling me I need to be more responsible. I'm irresponsible. I need to watch what he does.
So it had to do with the boyfriend?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what it said here. Did you subsequently move the trailer to another location?
Yes.
And continue to live in it for a while?
2 weeks.
And didn't call the police?
No.
Didn't seek medical attention?
No.
No. Okay. The two of you owe your father $1,100 to fix up the mess that you created in the trailer. Your counterclaim for assault is dismissed. Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused when they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He absolutely hates me. I've taken his young little princess away from him.
I'm glad with her decision. She is right. My daughter is an intelligent person. Hopefully she'll wisen up and get rid of her boyfriend and get to school.
You know, I'm going to put you in the ground. I'll stomp you. And it'll be worth going to jail for a day.
Nobody likes the kid.
With my father being married 7 times and losing 9 children, I don't feel he has much say in my relationship.
If it was just her, I'd have never done it. But I'm trying to make her realize that she could do a lot better.
Oh, I love her. She's my world.
I hope she gets in school.